What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist being joined by the one, the only, the black sock wearing
Crush One.
And today, we're going to be answering your questions in another episode of For the Greater WAAAGH.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And that is what Zonic Nexus did. He asks, how would the 40k universe be like if the World Eaters and the Night Lords were still loyalist? So in other words, what would it be like if traitors became loyalists? Good question, and like the answer to that is there are currently. There are a lot of successor chapters who have foundings that are unknown, but in reality they are using the gene seed of traitors.
Right.
Traitor legions.
The main one that comes to mind is the Blood Ravens. It's highly rumored that their gene seed is that of the Thousand Sons, and as we all know, Magnus has been corrupted by Zeech and whatnot. So
yeah.
But I mean, if Angron and Conrad Kurz, if they were loyalists, like during the Horus Heresy, that would have played a huge part in probably ending the heresy a lot sooner, because Angron was a huge proponent to, there you go, during the Isfahan massacre, as was Conrad Kurz, because he freaking saved Lorgar's life when Korax was about to stab him. So yeah.
And then of course the Night Lords, if they were loyalists, I think they would be they would be like the Raven Guard in terms of like stealth, but more importantly, they would be the ones responsible for answering to calls of like putting somebody or a nation under compliance. Currently, they're the Minotaurs, and what's the other chapter?
The Mantis War?
No, the blue guys. They come from the Imperial Fists.
Oh, the
Crimson
Fists. Yeah.
So the Minotaurs and the Crimson Fists currently fulfill the purpose of bringing worlds under or to compliance, the ones that have rebelled against the Imperium. I feel that the Night Hunters, because their whole thing was about fear, right, they would instill fear into whatever rebellious nation there is, and that's what role they would fulfill.
Yeah, I could definitely see them as being like anti-heroes, because well, even like in Chaos, they like portray like flaying people, and they wear like skulls and bones of their enemies and all that. So if they were just loyalists, I think they'd still do that just for that scare tactics.
They'd be hated by other chapters because flaying people is just horrible. And then Angron or the World Eaters, if they were still loyalists, they would be the aggressors. They would be the ones, basically like the Black Crusade, minus the whole believing in the God Emperor. They would be the ones on crusade.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did the World Eaters have a home world?
Yeah. It was the one where he was a gladiator,
but it wasn't destroyed.
No, I think it. Well, I don't think it was destroyed like right off the bat, but I think it was later on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they would be a crusading chapter. Good question, though. Next one.
This one is by Michael Howell, and he's asking us to pick between Terminator armor or Gravis Mark X armor. I think Gravis is the armor that the Primaris wear. I want to say I'd go with Gravis.
Me too, just because it looks more, you get more mobility.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Next question comes from Dorian 24. Let's say the Primarchs never existed. Do you think the Space Marines would still start the heresy? No.
Definitely not, no. Because like the big push for the Space Marines, like the Legions themselves, to become Chaos was because they had a Primarch doing it. Although Cor Phaeron and like, what's his name, Erebus, they did play a huge part in like...
But they wouldn't exist because Lorgar wouldn't exist.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
The thing is, though, that at some point, the Primarch's position has to be fulfilled. And whether that's going to be with one person, probably not, because the Primarchs were so good at what they did. So it would be multiple...
So I guess they just have like chapter masters.
Yeah, but I think multiple chapter masters to fulfill, like, because the legions were huge.
Yeah. Sure.
Or they would have to break down the legions somehow. Ultimately, like, there'll be some corruption, but I don't think it would be as big as the Horus Heresy. Because, again, the War Master was so good at waging war.
Yeah.
Which is what led the Horus Heresy. Next question.
Brett Chubknuckles. Once again, he's asking the questions we all want to hear. Would you bust a nut for the Emperor?
No.
More like, how many have you busted? 999,000.
Next question comes from SpartanA111. Can a Necron be hacked? No. So the command protocol is something that's not like, it's not like what we think of with software, right?
I don't think so. I think it's more built into their biology, right? Than anything.
Yeah.
If you even want to call that biology, because technically their biology was long taken when they were Necron tier.
Yeah.
Now they're kind of like something else.
Yeah. I think the powers of the Catan have something to do with the powers given to the Necron overlords to command their people. But I could be wrong. Because like the more I think about it, the more I realize like, well, the Catan can use warp powers, so it's not magic. It has to be something based in science, because that's what all Necron tech is. And like anything in science, like it can be manipulated for your own choosing. Right. It would be cool if like isn't that what Ferrus Manus did with his Necrodermis arms?
What?
Like he changed the structure of Necrodermis to fit his arms or something like that.
Something like, because he didn't he get his arms because he was fighting like some like giant worm thing?
Oh yeah,
which
centipede.
Could have been the centipedes or the thingies from Tombstalkers from the Forge Road that the Necrons have.
Those look cool.
Yeah, so most likely that's what it was. So kind of, yeah.
So you just proved us wrong without even doing anything. Next question.
This one is by Fanboy, and he's like, "Hey guys, long-time viewer here. My question is, which Pokemon would best fit into each of the Tau casts?" So you got the Water cast, the Earth cast, the squatty ones, Air, Water, Earth, and Fire.
So let's start off with the most sensible one, Senslash, as the Earth cast.
Mm-hmm. The squatty. Water cast.
Squirtle.
Yeah. Fire cast.
Charizard.
Charizard, yeah. And then you got the Air cast.
Pidgeot! Is it Pidgeot or Pidgeot?
Pidgeotto.
Oh, Pidgeotto.
Pidgeot.
Which one was the first evolution?
Pidgey.
Next question comes from Demonincarnate. If an empire similar to the Imperium in the future, where information about the past is all but forgotten somehow... hold on. If an empire similar to the Imperium in the future, where information about the past is all but forgotten, somehow discovered your channel and saw the Greater WAAAGH videos, what message would they give them? What message would our Greater WAAAGH videos give?
Wait, so you're saying... I'm a little confused.
So
there's an empire similar to the Imperium, but they don't know anything about the past, and they discovered our channel. So you're saying, what would they get from the past by our videos?
I think like what you're saying is, if in the future the Imperium did come about, like if the Emperor, like everything that happened in Warhammer 40k happened in the future, and then somebody found an STC database, and out of the entire thing, the only thing that they had was the Greater WAAAGH videos that we created, and then the tech priest sat down and started watching our videos, I think that they would get, I think that they would feel like, damn, we have it pretty good. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's just hope that they finally introduce a Kroot to the Emperor.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They would introduce a Kroot to the Emperor. Next question.
This is an answer, not a question, by Tony Garcia. So the fan fiction that you were thinking about the Tau is called Rise of the Tau.
Ah, okay. And I never found it. But now I'm gonna look for it. I'll put it in the comment section below. I'm probably not. I'm gonna forget. Next question comes from Chris C. Are current chapter masters as strong as Primarchs or close to it? It seems like some of their deeds are so outrageous, like fighting traitor Primarchs. If so, why and how? No and no.
You could pit the best chapter master, and they'll still be like leagues below a Primarch.
Yeah. The only person that doesn't fall to that is Drago.
Yeah.
But that's because he's like fluff.
Technically, you could say he is a Primarch because it's rumored that Grey Knight Gene Seed is that of the Emperor.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so you could call him a mini Primarch, but yeah, this dude's overpowered beyond belief.
Yeah. Next one.
This one is by Demonincarnate. Oh, we already did that one.
I have one from Watchmaster number 212. I am wondering if they would ever allow a Psyker to become a commissar, or just as a commissar. That is, latent Psyker, would he still have a job?
They probably would bump him up from commissar to like
Sanctioned Psyker.
Yeah.
Or they would kill him, because the whole thing about Sanctioned Psykers is that they have to be, I forget what the word is, like, blessed by the Emperor. They go to the Golden Throne and then they're like,
bless me.
yeah, well, they're stamped. They have a stamp of approval. Like, this guy, this Psyker, will not give people trouble. And if a commissar is out in the field and he develops a psychic ability, then I think the Imperial, just, what is it called? The Adeptus Minister, no, the Admin, is it not the Ministorum? Is it the Ministorum?
I think so.
Well, they would be like, yeah, we need to get rid of this guy because he might destroy stuff. So, yeah, I hope that answers that question. Last question.
This one's by Darth Revan. If Predator from the 1987 movie actually existed in 40k, who should they consider honorable prey? And also, would anybody in 40k actually have a sense of honor to fight the Predator in a fair duel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see like Farsight fighting him one-on-one, some like Spacemarine captain or a chapter master.
Yeah, and I think that Predator would be a chaos, a devotee of Khorne.
Yeah, I could definitely see that since they collect like trophies of skulls and stuff like that.
They're the embodiment of like Khorne's beliefs. Other than blood, they don't really care about blood, right?
Well, their blood is like green, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh, but they do have like the heat sensing stuff. Mm-hmm. So maybe they sense the blood, even though they sense heat. And those were the questions for today. Thank you for sending those questions our way. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below.
As always, put question before question, and we get to those questions first. Also, if you don't have a question yourself, thumbs up the questions you like to make those more alluring to our eyes.
There you go. This is Gersh1,
the Sound Alchemist, and we're out of here.